Tube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Who wants coffee? Anybody wants coffee?
Can you get me off the hook? Roll type C.
The Italian's tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern bred, southern fed, slick talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Football Friday in the Doghouse. You know what Football Friday means. Football Friday means football music throughout the show. And that means this little ditty. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing in the history of sports music is any better than that. And guess what? We'll have football music throughout the show today. And the return of the Friday trifecta, Future Fecta style. That's right, baby. We are back with the Future Fecta. And look, longtime listeners of the show, right? I'm talking about long-time listeners of the show. They know. They have a sense. They know what's coming. They get it. They know that a Friday staple here is the Friday trifecta for the last 15, 18, 20 years, where we pick 3 or 4 games against the spread each week, and the points are built towards the grand trifecta leaderboard for a season-long handicapping champion. But in the final 4 weeks leading up to the regular season, we roll out the Future Fecta. And that's where you get to pick the win totals for 4 categories and earn double points on your grand trifecta leaderboard at the end of the season. Plus, more importantly, you get to show off your big brain, which is really what dudes want to do anyway. Now, look, there are 4 groups of 4 teams that we will pick over the next 4 weeks. 4 in the AFC this week are featured. The NFC is next week. The SEC in week 3. And 4 random college teams in week 4. And I say random. I say random, but you know what they are. The random teams, they're usually Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Clemson. You know what I mean? The teams that are contenders for the playoff. You know what the 4 SEC teams are going to be. I mean, come on. You know what the 4 SEC teams are. You know we're going Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and Georgia. But that's in 3 weeks. Today it is 4 AFC teams. You want to know what those 4 AFC teams are? I'll tell you what those 4 AFC teams are. The by God Buffalo Bills.
Anyone who wants a piece of OJ has to get by me.
Highest win total in the AFC, over or under 11.5 wins. The Tennessee Titans.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry, 72-yard gallop.
Over or under 9.5 wins. The Patriots with Mac Jones.
I just can't take it anymore.
Over or under 8.5 wins. And the Dolphins with Tua.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
Any excuse to play that. Any excuse to play 2nd and 26, I'm taking it. If I can play 2nd and 26.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
I'm playing it. If I can play it, I'm playing it. 8.5. So Mac and Tua at 8.5. Now remember, it's a 17-game season now. Remember? Last year they rolled out the 17-game season. So, under 8.5 is a losing season if it's under 8.5. All right, phone lines are open right now. I think, I'll be totally honest with you. I think we'll hear from some different people today. I think we're going to hear from people today that we haven't heard from recently. I think we should hear from Wolverine Dan. It's a Friday trifecta. It's the future factor. It's out there. It's posted. It's on the Facebook. It's on the Twitter. If you don't know what it is, it's out there. Phone lines are open right now. 256-576-4977. So don't be afraid. I know there are people out there, obviously, thousands of people that listen to this radio show that have never called this radio show. And they're intimidated. And they're like, what is he talking about? Half a game, this over, under. This is your time. I will train you to be a gambler. I'm looking for some new meat. I want legends. You know what a legend is? You know what a junkyard dog is, right? A junkyard dog is anybody that's called this show at least 3 times, not in the same day. And I'm looking for first-timers. And I got somebody in the closet for you first-timers. He's just hanging out over there. Yes, I know he's got this thing he's doing tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or tonight? Tomorrow, Sunday? When is he doing that wrestling thing in Nashville? Woo! Sunday? God, I saw him at Titans training camp. He looks dead. Woo! I mean, he's the nature boy, but he looks naturally dead. How old is Nate? Because he looks older than his age. I think he's only 73, 74. He looks like he's 83, not 73. It's going to be kind of gruesome, isn't it? Is he actually wrestling, or is he just getting in there and just, walking around the ring and stuff like that? He's not going to actually have contact with somebody, is he? Is he going to actually take his shirt off and stuff and have, like, his boobies hanging down and all that? I mean, can you imagine, as bad as he looks from the neck up, woo! Can you imagine what he looks like under that shirt? I mean, that could be bad. It's not like he's, The Rock.
Eat your vitamin, say your prayers, and stick it straight up all your candy asses.
He's not that guy. It's not like he's, Goldberg.
You're next!
It's not like he's even Steve Austin.
I'm going to go ahead and bottom line this interview because I ain't got a whole lot of time. I got a man's ass to whip.
It's Ric freaking Flair.
Woo! Woo!
I like my woo better.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can also text the show. Unique to this show and this show only for 14 years now. You can text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW. That has been around for 5 different markets. That's been around from Nashville to Montgomery to Huntsville to Fort Myers, Florida, Naples. I mean, it's been everywhere. 7329-TA-SHOW. Kentucky. 732-982-7469. Get you in the show. Great way to communicate with us. Great way to get your picks in. You can get your picks in there. Do not give me your picks at the Facebook page. Do not give me your picks at the Twitter page. Can't take them there. Can't do it, Sally. I need your picks at either on the phone or at the text window because they go into a file automatically. So you either call me at 256-576-4977 or you text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW. It's that simple. You can watch the show on the Twitter and the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch us on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV, you'd see my ultra cool black trash panel set. A blacked out, black on black trash panel set. You often see me wearing a Yankee one. Now you can see it on this one. I'll check that out as well. I mean, I assume we're on the Twitch. I haven't checked it out yet. We keep playing with camera angles and things like that and different cameras, and it's just popping. Oh, there you are. Okay. It looks good. I thought you were saying it was bad, Grizz. I thought you were saying something was wrong. I didn't understand. Oh, that was, possibly if it moves a little, I haven't caught it. That was yesterday. I'm like, what's he talking about? Just go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that stuff. And while you are at it, will you get the app, for God's sakes? You need to take us with you.
You can take it near, you can take it far, you can take it in your car, you can take it to a bar.
You get links to Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. This year, the Buckhorn Bucks will be on Zone 2. The Randolph Raiders will be on Zone 3, high school football style. As always, Madison Academy will be on the air and on our primary stream. And if they have a bye in a particular week or there's not a conflict, we will have one of our other teams on the air. A Thursday or Friday or a bye week or whatever, one of our other teams will take it to the air. And you can also find a link to the Blitz there, our new streaming sports station, which will have its own app sometime in the next few minutes maybe, or today or this weekend or soon. On the Blitz this afternoon at 2 o'clock, you can catch the afternoon Blitz with young Captain Cool and the Bandyman and Smokey Mike Hancho. And beginning on Monday, the Recruiting Blitz with Double D, Drew the Armin from 9 to 10 on the Blitz. ESPN Radio filling in on the other time slots. And by the way, the North Alabama Scoreboard Show will be on the Blitz as well this year, beginning at 8:30 at night with live look-ins. So in the fourth quarter of the games that are going on all around the area, there'll be live look-ins on our games, live listen-ins. That'll be anchored by Scott Tyson. He'll go around and listen to some of this game, some of that game. And it'll be on the Blitz beginning at 8:30. And then as each game finishes, that station will join after the Madison Academy game. We'll join in. And then by 9:30, it'll be on the air, and they'll take it to 11 o'clock at night. It's fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Alan Bell from CBS Sports Line is back with all sorts of football talk as the camps have opened up, and we will get him to give us his take on our 4 featured win totals. At the top of the 11, we go to Big Ten country with Anthony Herron of the Big Ten Network. Is the 10 about to become the Big 20? Word is they are vetting Stanford, Cal, Washington, Oregon. It only makes sense. We'll get his take on other stuff from Big Ten Media Days as well. Over there in that little glass room with the slanted ceilings, playing the Platters of Matter and the Stacks of Wax, answering the phones, elbowing Smokey Mike Honcho in the head, who keeps walking in and out of his space. You know what I'm talking about. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz living large on a Friday.
In the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a stick of polish.
Brilliant!
I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole. Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the time roll.
Someone call someone, because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day, so that's a different day entirely.
Hey, Grace, the first picks are in on Future Fecta 22, and it was the Kramer that got in. Bills over Titans under, Patriots under, Dolphins over. Kramer, first one to get in, man. It's Future Fecta Day in the doghouse.
He's on hold too. I guess he wants to talk to you as well. So I guess
that's good.
I guess he wants to talk about his picks. I thought he was trying to do his picks, but no, I would agree with him. I think Bills over. I think I would go under with the Titans.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would go
wins last year.
And I think I'd go over with the Patriots.
Yeah.
They had 10, and then I think I'd go. I don't know, man. I think I stay. I wish I could put. I think I'm going to put a push. I think I'm going to say
you can't push 8.5. You can't push 8.5. What's the matter with you?
I think they're going to win 7 games, so I'm going to pick the under.
Well, that's a long ways from 8.5.
I know, but I don't know if I could pick over with the Dolphins. I don't know if they're gonna. I know they won 9, but I don't know if they're gonna
won
be.
9 last
I don't
year.
know if they're gonna win 9 or 10 this year. I don't know. I think the Patriots are gonna be better. I think they're gonna win more games than 10. I think they're gonna win at least maybe 10, 11 games.
Here's the thing: it's a zero-sum world. The Patriots are in the same division as the Dolphins and the Bills. So if
beat each other up,
right? If you're saying the Bills are going to win 12 or more.
Yeah,
the Patriots are going to be over. Then somebody's losing these games.
Yeah,
the Dolphins,
that's why I think the Dolphins are under. I think the Titans are under. Man, I think the Colts are going to be a lot.
Why the Titans? You think the Titans are 9 and 8 or worse?
Yeah, I think so.
They've been over the last 3 years.
I don't know what's going to happen with the wide receiver situation.
On Burks, baby,
man.
With his inhaler,
is he going to return kiksi too?
He's running around. Well, he should. I mean, what's wrong with that?
I'm just saying. I think it'd be cool.
You'd be out there with his inhaler.
They always put OBJ return kicks. I always seem to put a rookie out there. They always seem to put a younger guy.
I mean, if you're a great returner, I mean, why not?
Yeah, but they do it for like a year or two, and then they find the guy that they think can break.
Right. If the guy's contributing big time, then you do that. But I mean, Well, let's see what Kramer wants. Kramer, I got your picks. What's up, my man?
Hey, happy Friday, big dog.
Happy Friday to you.
We're close to football season.
Yeah, it feels like it's in. Look, with the NFL camps open, it feels like we're in football season.
Yeah, you got that right. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You mentioned my Bills first, so I had to hurry up and call in.
Yeah.
Express my my desire that they go over, and I say desire because the Bills have never, or in recent history until last year, haven't produced with expectations. So there's a lot coming into this season that hopefully the Bills can be optimistic about, but they're also hesitant about. So, or Bills fans, that is. So,
but that's the nature of the Bills fan. I mean, I've been around Bills fans for 50 years. That's the nature of the Bills fan. The Bills fan is always waiting for the stadium to collapse, or they're always waiting for something awful to happen. This is an organization that went to the Super Bowl 4 straight years and failed 4 straight years. This is an organization that has had so many bad things happen to it over the year. I know this because as a Browns fan, they are kindred spirits. These are the types of things that happen. Bills are going to bill. You know what I mean? And something is going to happen at some particular point in time. In a 17-week season, it's hard to find more than 5 losses. So, I tend to agree a little bit with the over. I did struggle with I originally had the Chiefs. I didn't have I had the Chiefs, but the Bills had the highest win total. Chiefs are at 10.5. Grizz, I didn't know, the Titans, Patriots, and Dolphins made sense because the Titans are in Nashville. Patriots and Dolphins are Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa, so there's an interest there. And then I was like, who is the 4th team? I actually had the Chiefs. And then I thought, the Chiefs, the Broncos with Russell Wilson, we don't care about them. The Bills, make me want to shout. So I thought maybe the Bills.
Yeah.
Well, nobody wants the Commanders and the Falcons would be really easy because they're 4.5.
They're NFC teams. That's next week.
I know, but I don't even think you're going to pick the Falcons for NFC
Falcons
anyway.
will be in there next week.
They're going to be in there at 4.5. At 4.5.
4.5, 5. Yeah, Falcons have to be in there. I mean, they're our team. So you're going to take our air. We have to have the Falcons in there. It'll be Falcons Saints. You know who it's going to be?
Yeah,
it's going to be Falcons Saints, Cowboys because Cowboys, and I got to decide whether I put the Packers.
I'm surprised you didn't put the Bengals in there.
Or the Eagles. Why not Bengals? I hate the Bengals.
Or the Browns? You didn't put the Browns in there.
I know, because I'm trying to appeal to the masses, and I'm thinking the Bills are the
This is
highest.
your show. It doesn't matter.
No,
but the Bills
the
have
Bengals, the Bengals host the Bills January the 2nd, week 7, second to last week of the season. That's going to be a pretty good matchup.
Definitely over on the Bills.
The Bills will be That game will be – the Bengals will already be the biggest disappointment of the season. And is that a Monday night game? What is that? January 2nd is the Sun. Is that Monday night?
Game.
Yeah. Where is it? They're hosting or at Cincinnati?
It's in Cincinnati.
That's going to be colder than the hubs of hell. Cincinnati's going to have 7 wins at that time. And the fans – nobody's going to be at the game because they're not going out in that cold to see a bad Bengals team. And they're going to be wearing white. All white. You watch. The Bengals will be wearing all white, which is stupid because the Bills have white helmets. The Bengals, though, are too stupid to know that they should not wear the white helmets when the Bills. You know why the Bills went to red helmets back in the day, right?
Oh, why is that?
They went to red helmets back in the day. They were in a division at the time with the Colts, the Jets, and the Dolphins, who all had white helmets, and their quarterback, Joe Ferguson, was colorblind. And he was having a hell of a time picking out his own receivers. So they said, we'll make the helmet red because everybody else in the division is white. And then this way our receivers will stick out and Joe Ferguson will stop throwing interceptions, which helped a little bit. That's a true story.
That's a great tidbit of knowledge for a Friday.
Well, there you go. Look, I tell you that, guys, these things all the time because
we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
I mean, I've been around a minute. You know what I mean? These are the things I know. These things.
Oh yeah. Now I think the Josh Allen has looked really good in shorts this summer. I tell you, if he keeps improving, that guy
pretty good golfer.
Looks really good. I'm happy we finally got a quarterback.
Yeah, he can golf his ball.
I used the term "we" right there, so I'm surprised
you did. You dropped the "we" in there, which is that's you know how I feel about that from dog law. You're not supposed to do that.
He probably studies too.
Unless you played for the team like West Neighbors, or you are a member of the organization. If you're just a fan, you can't use we.
Yeah, I hear you. Now the Titans, they have a pretty tough schedule as well. I mean, if they split with the NFC, and then the Jags and the Texans, the Texans, they ought to beat them twice, right? But the Jags, they might split there because that's always a knockout, drag out. And then they got to play the AFC West on top of like the Packers and some other teams. I mean, it's not going to be an easy schedule for the Titans. Now, I like Derrick Henry, and the defense is usually gritty, but I went under with them just because I don't know. It's going to be tough for them.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Good stuff.
Have a good one, dog.
We're going to get into it with Alan Bell. They got the Giants at home to open. They have got the Bills at Buffalo. They've got the Raiders at home. That's a swing game. They got the Colts at the Colts. They got the Commanders at the Commanders. That would be the Redskins for those of you that are the great unwashed. They host the Colts. The question is, what do they do in the division? See, I think that they are 4-2 in the division. I think they'll go 4-2 in the division. So then you go and look at outside the division. But Grizz, I am, and I will take input from the listeners. Jalen Hurts is a Philadelphia Eagle, so I feel like I should put the Eagles in there.
Oh yeah.
The Packers are the Packers. You know what I mean?
Badger
Cowboys. So Packers, Cowboys, Falcons, but then Saints. Okay, so there's Saints. Here are the contenders: Saints, Falcons, Packers, Panthers, Eagles, Cowboys. There's 6 teams I got to boil down to 4.
No
6
Cowboys.
teams I need to boil down to 4. You dropped the Cowboys out of there?
I dropped the Cowboys already. Just go ahead and drop the Cowboys out of there. Nobody cares. No. There's no Cowboys fans out there that listen to this show.
Before there were Titans here, this was all Cowboys country.
That's a shot to the Phillip.
It's a lot of Cowboy fans. So I don't know who to drop. I don't know which 4 NFC teams to put in next week. You guys want to help with that? You can help program the show. Give me the 4 NFC teams. I mean, do I put the Rams in there? Do I put any West Coast teams in there?
I don't need any West Coast teams.
It's, defending Super Bowl champs. Do I just put do I put the Panthers in or not? I'm not feeling the Panthers. Got to have the Saints. Got to have the Saints and
you got to have
Falcons.
A freebie in the Falcons.
I think there are more
4.5.
I think there are more Saint fans in the area than Falcon fans.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, I wouldn't say without a doubt. Why would you say without a doubt?
Because I would say that this general area, even though we do get the game on Fox, I still would say that this general area is probably more Titans fans We do. We'll
definitely
do get the
Titans won.
We do get the occasional, glasses at the bar that have the Falcons logo. So I think it's kind of slowly getting into that.
But Atlanta is like kindred spirits.
But it's like,
but if you go 2.5 hours away.
But it's weird. If you go to Birmingham, you get Saints games.
Well, Saints is, but that's closer. That's an hour and a half going towards New Orleans.
I know, but
it is weird. Birmingham's closer to Atlanta.
As I'm saying, you would think
that, and boom, you're at the stadium.
You would think you'd get more Atlanta games, but you don't. You get more Saints games. So it's like it's weird. And when you go to Birmingham, it's like you more than likely see Steelers and Cowboys and Dolphins. You don't see Falcons and Saints and stuff like that. I feel like you see the other teams. You don't see those two necessary teams.
Yeah.
So, and that's like I said, but because we're so close to Nashville, I feel like this area is
it
should be more.
It
definitely is Titans country, but like if you go to bars and stuff, especially around here, I feel like there's more Atlanta Falcons stuff that they get from whatever their shipment is or whatever, than they do Titan stuff.
In the early 2000s, there was a time that was Davidson County was number one in terms of season ticket holders. Then the Williamson County was number two. Where Franklin, Tennessee is.
Yeah.
And number 3 was Madison County, Alabama.
Yeah.
There was a time when Madison County, Alabama had the third most season ticket holders for the I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up now and see what it is. All right, let's get a break. Alan Bell Jr. will join us next. We'll get his take on this and much, much more. It's the Thom Abraham Show on a Football Friday with the return of the Friday Trifecta on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
UFC 277 in Dallas tomorrow. The main event, the women's bantamweight title. Amanda Nunes minus 275. Juliana Pena plus 225. Brandon Moreno at minus 220 against Kai Kara France at plus 175 for the interim flyweight belt. Inside of a week until the start of the preseason, Raiders and Jaguars in Canton this coming Thursday night. Vegas a 1.5-point favorite, 33 the total. Tonight, the Braves hosting the Diamondbacks this weekend. Atlanta minus 244 on the money line in Game 1 tonight. Arizona at plus 180. The over-under at 9. Atlanta taking 1 out of 3 in Philadelphia against the Phillies last time out. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially through the heart of the afternoon, and then that activity is going to continue as we head into the evening, the overnight, and then through the front half of the weekend. Because of that opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms, not going to be near as warm Friday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're going to maintain that cooler air as we head into the front half of your weekend with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Oh, the draft music. I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm not far already with the draft music. Now, the draft is long gone. The draft music. I like the draft music. I like it leading up to the draft. I like it when we're talking about the draft. Friggin' draft is over. The segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. At Valley Equipment Rental, they got 2 locations now for you to serve you better and make sure that you get the equipment that you need to get the job done like a pro. And it's a great weekend now. I mean, things are getting heated up here. We're 6 days away from an actual football game. I know it's the Hall of Fame game, but it's an actual football game. So things are starting to heat up. You need to get your projects done now. So you need Valley Equipment. You pick up your equipment after 2 today. You have it all the way through till Monday because they are not coming in on Sunday for you to return the equipment. And you get it for the price of one day. You get the whole weekend. After 2 today. You could get work done until 8 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow all day. There's no college football games on tomorrow. And then you could do Sunday. And then take that thing back on Monday. Valley Equipment Rental. North Parkway, north of Winchester Road. South Parkway as well by Drake. By Baumhauer's. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Alan Bell, CBS Sportsline. AB, welcome back. How are you?
Big dog, doing fantastic, man. You good?
I am great. I'm excited. The NFL is in camp, and let's go. And you know what? I always get a chuckle when I see like Mike Vrabel earlier this week did his little press conference. When he's talking with the media and stuff like that, and he's got a full blown hoodie on. It's like 97 degrees out. It's 115% humidity. And these guys, he's got a full-blown hoodie on. I'm like, what do you think it's November or something?
I know. And the funny thing, coaches do that all the time, and I'm with you. It's hilarious. But especially with Mike Vrabel and John Robinson,
yeah,
GM, they'll both be out there. And not only the hoodie, they'll bring out the vest, too. Like, you'll start to see those thrown over. Like, it's hilarious. You're like, dude, it is 128 degrees out here, my man. Like, a T-shirt is good.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, So we have our future fecta up. We'll be doing this each Friday now, the next 4 Fridays. We're starting with the AFC. We got 4 featured teams. Then we're going to do 4 featured teams in the NFC. Next week, we will do 4 SEC teams, because I always say the 3 great conferences in America are the AFC, the NFC, and the SEC. So we'll do the SEC in week 3, and then we'll pick 4 random college teams to do. Not real random, it's going to be Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Clemson most likely. But we'll do 4 random teams the 4th week, right before games start with college football. So we're starting with the AFC, and right now I'm using the Vegas numbers right now, and we're starting with the Titans, and I've got the Titans at 9.5. That's the number right now for the Titans, 9.5. What do you think? I'm looking at this schedule. I'm thinking 4-2 in the division. Go outside the division. You got the Giants coming in. I think they're all right there. Bills game will be tough at Buffalo. What's your take on over or under 9.5?
Yeah, I'm going to go over 9.5. Look, I don't know how, top of the top good the Titans are going to be, but they're going to be a pretty good football team, right? Like, they still got talent all over the field. Their defense is really good. I think a big part of it is what you just said there, in the AFC South, because, look, somebody's going to have to come take it away from them. They're not just going to give it to you. And there's only one team that can do it, the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars, they could sweep them. The Texans, they could sweep them. If they do, that's 4 wins right there. They could sweep the Colts. Like, they've put it on the Colts lately as well, right? So let's just say they get 4 or 5 wins right there. Well, all they have to do is get to 10, right? So, yeah, like, I'm going to go over on Tennessee. And we look at, what they did last year. Remember, like, this was the most injured team in NFL history in terms of how many players played, on that squad. So, yeah, man, give me the other 9.5. I'll take that.
I mean, the number's 9.5. They had 12 wins. We said 11 earlier. They had 12 wins last season, Grizz. Not 11. They had 12 wins last season. So when you look at it, if we say, okay, 2 losses in the division, let's say that, and that would be unusual, a little bit unusual, but let's go ahead. Matt Ryan is now there in the call. Let's say 2 losses in the division. So if we had to find 4 other losses to make them an 11 and 6 team, I'm still having a hard time with these numbers. With the 17, nothing adds up to 17. I don't like 17. But if we had to find, so if you have to find 4 or 5 other losses, I think the Bills game at Buffalo, I would put that in the loss column. I know they beat them last year, but that's a primetime game. I would put that in the loss column. I'm going to put the Chiefs at the Chiefs primetime game. Put that in the loss column. I'm going to put the Packers at the Packers primetime game. Put that one in the loss column. I'm going to say Chargers at the Chargers, and I'm going to put that one in the loss column. So I got them with 4 road losses there, and then there's 2 other losses is 6. I'm having a hard time finding 2 more for them to get under 9.5. I see 11 and 6 is what I'm seeing. They beat the Cowboys at home.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. And with teams like the Titans, teams that run the ball and play good defense, like these are teams that generally, more times than not, win those 3-point, 4-point games because it's really tough to beat yourself. And I understand what happened in the playoffs last year. I get it, but I'm with you, man. Like, this team is pretty good. They're going to handle their business. They should, compete for the division title again. They should be a playoff team. And I'll say this: here's a stat for you. Ever since Mike Vrabel got to Tennessee, they've hit their over in win totals every single year.
Yeah, they have been an over every year under Mike Vrabel. So they're always underestimated, and they've been an over every year. And you know what will happen? They'll win one of those games I just rattled off. They'll go and beat the Packers or something, or they'll go beat the Chiefs or do something like that. But then they'll lose some other game that they shouldn't lose. But remember that stretch last year where they were beating like the Bills and the Chiefs. They were beating all of these people in a row. They went like 4 or 5 games and beat all of these contenders in a row, and then became the number 1 seed and then crapped down their leg against the Bengals.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
That's exactly what happened.
Am I lying? Yeah, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
Okay, so Buffalo. We got Buffalo at 11.5, highest win total in the AFC. We got Buffalo at 11.5. They opened at the Rams. Then they got that game at home against the Titans. Could be a swing game. I mean, look, Buffalo could open 0-2. Then they go to Miami in Tua Tagovailoa in the heat of September 25th, and it's a 1 o'clock Eastern game. You know what Miami's record is on 1 o'clock Eastern games in Miami? I mean, that's a big – and then they are at the Ravens. Now, the Steelers, I think, are just the Steelers in name. But then they're at the Chiefs. You look at their September schedule. At Rams, home against the Titans, at Dolphins, at Ravens, home against the Steelers, and at the Chiefs. I mean, they're liable to be 3-3 just in the month of September.
Yeah, they could be. I'll say this. They could also be the best team in the NFL. And they could be a serious problem. And if they get through that, unscathed, they get 4-2, they get 5-1, buddy, good luck. Because they're just gonna run all over everybody. I think that team has gotten better. I think that they also understand that windows in the NFL are short. This is their year to go to the Super Bowl. This is it, right? Now, I'm not saying that this is the only year, but their time is right now. So I'm with you. That the start of that schedule is brutal, but it's impossible for me to fade them because I think that they've gotten better. I mean, they added Von Miller on defense. I mean, they've added pieces on both sides. Like, this team is going to be better than what we saw last year, and they were a problem. So, yeah, man, impossible for me to fade them. I'll take the over on Buffalo all day.
So 5 losses. We'd have to find 5 losses, and they're still an over because, again, the 17 games. So 11.5 looks different when it's a 17-game season than it did when it was a 16-game season, obviously. So we're looking for them to be a 12-5 team. So we're looking at 5 losses. That game at Los Angeles. I mean, this is let's go to the games that they're going to be a dog in. They're going to be a dog at Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They're going to be a dog at Kansas City. It might only be 1 or 2 points, but they'll be a dog at Kansas City. And remember how they went and played at Miami last year? Or was it Jacksonville? Remember they walked into Jacksonville, got their head handed? Was it Jacksonville?
It was Jacksonville.
It's like, what the hell? So they have that in their pedigree that they could do.
Half-point favorites, too. Yeah.
All right, and they lost that game. They got the Packers at home. It's not going to be a cakewalk. They got the Browns at home November 20th. I'm thinking by then Deshaun Watson is playing. That's not a cakewalk. Lions, Patriots on the road, back-to-back. Jets are going to be sportier, but they're not winning that game. The Jets aren't winning that game. Dolphins, Bears, at the Bengals. I'm out on a limb. I'm going to say that when they go to the play at the Bengals on Monday Night Football on January 2nd, that the Bengals are out of playoff contention, and the crowd doesn't show up because nobody wants to go to a game in Cincinnati the day after New Year's Day when it's colder than the hubs of hell to see a non-playoff team. How about that? I'm out there saying, and the Bengals will be wearing all white, probably. They'll be wearing that stupid white helmet in their white uniform, and they'll be all in white against the Bills team that wears a white helmet, and it'll be an abomination. How about that?
I like it. I like that projection. Look, I'm with you, man. Like, I think Buffalo, if they start well and get through that, dude, they're going to be a problem for a lot of people.
All right, so you got them over. Okay, so now I'm going Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa. They're both at 8.5. Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa. Again, these teams have to play Buffalo twice. They have to play each other. What do you think? At 8, and remember, at 8.5, if you're at 8, that's a losing season. That's 8 and 9. So over or under on the Dolphins and the Patriots at 8.5.
Yeah. So all right. So let me say this. It's obviously more than the quarterback, right? And what I mean by it is this. I think Mac Jones is going to have a good year. I think he's going to continuously get better. I do not believe in the Patriots whatsoever. I'll take the under on that. They're getting worse by the year, and they're losing star players in doing so. I have no faith in New England, and I love Bill Belichick. I do. His drafts lately have not been well. Their free agency moves have not been well. Again, I like Mac Jones, but I seriously question how good this New England team is going to be. I'll take the over on Miami. I think Miami's going to be a much better football team this year.
Wow.
You added Tyreek Hill down there. They were getting better. They've got a good defense. They've got a good offense, right? They could do some things. And, I like Miami way more than I do New England. And again, It's nothing against the Patriots. It's nothing against Bill Belichick. But it kind of is. Like, I am just not – they'll sneak up on some people. Like, they'll win a game or two that they shouldn't. But the AFC East is going to be too difficult. The AFC as a whole is going to be very difficult. I'm out on New England, but I'm in on Miami.
I mean, New England opens at the Dolphins, 100 degrees.
It's been a nightmare for them, by the way.
Yeah, 1 o'clock game again in Miami, 1,000 degrees there, humidity, everything else, 9/11. Then they're at Pittsburgh, and I like I said, I don't really believe much in Pittsburgh, but it's still at Pittsburgh. Then they get the Ravens at home, and then they go to Green Bay. I mean, they're liable to be like 1-3 right out of the chute, and then everybody is talking about when is Belichick going to retire. They get Detroit at home. They're at Cleveland week 6. Tell me if it's a 6, 4, 5, 8 game suspension. But even with Jacoby Brissett, with that running game and that defense, I don't know if they beat Cleveland with or without Deshaun Watson.
Agreed. You agree,
right.
Yeah.
And then, they get the Jets on the road. They get the Colts at home. That's going to be a tough week. And then after the bye week, I mean, they're at Minnesota. They're at Arizona. They're at the Raiders. God, I'm with you. And they finish at Buffalo. Yeah, I'm with you. They're a 7 or 8 win team. And all hell's going to break loose then at that point in time.
It absolutely will, yeah.
So you like Miami over.
Yep.
So outside of the division, Miami has that game at Cincinnati. They got Cleveland at home. They get Pittsburgh at home. Get the Vikings at home. They get the Texans at home. They go to San Francisco and Los Angeles to play the Chargers. They're at Buffalo in the division. Get Green Bay at home. Yeah, they're over. They're over because it's 9-8. You know what I mean? 9-8 and 10. If they dump somebody that they shouldn't dump, they're probably a 10-win team.
Yep, 100% with you, man. I think that they are.
When is the league? When is this? Does this Sue Robinson? Does this person even exist? Is this a real people? Because I mean, at some particular point in time, I mean, right now Deshaun Watson's taking most of the snaps with the ones. Jacoby Brissett. I mean, they got to be thinking that Jacoby Brissett's going to play, or at least early in the season. I mean, if it ends up being like a 4-game suspension, the Browns should thank their lucky stars if it's something like that. But when is Sue Robinson going to make a decision?
I know. I'm with you. And it's one of those things, like, if you're an owner of a team, like, you don't want to push them, and be aggressive because you're, hoping for a little leniency, I guess, so to say. But it's also like, hey, we kind of need to know here. Like, we're running out of time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm with you. Like, we should get this thing literally at any moment, because there'll be an appeal with it as well. But, yeah. It's got to be coming literally at any moment.
All right. Are you doing your homework? I just want to make sure. I understand that your CBS Sportsline contract calls for you to do a minimum of 4 hours a week of study, to prepare for these radio hits that you do and things like that. So I hope that you are doing your homework and that you're not like playing video games or watching TV or surfing the internet while you're doing your homework. Well, wait a minute. That might be your homework. But anyway, just make sure you're getting your work done because, you can't be like this without doing getting your work done.
What a crazy situation in Arizona.
Nuts.
And then to pull it back, right?
Like,
yeah.
Like we didn't see it. Like we can unsee that thing that they put out there. You know what I mean?
It's just crazy, man.
Yeah. And then he shows up at a press conference to talk about how dedicated he is, and he's wearing an Easy Money T-shirt. I mean, really, why don't you just throw it in everybody's face? Easy money? It's easy money. I didn't even have to work for this. I don't even have to watch film. It's easy money. It's good gracious almighty.
I'll tell you what might be easy money is fading Arizona. Like, I could see this thing blowing up in everybody's face.
Now, I don't know how you could achieve that losing record as a starter with all that talent. I don't understand how you could do that if you weren't preparing. Like he said, I don't know how you could go in your only playoff game and throw for 137 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions while completing 55% of your passes in your only playoff game in 3 years. I mean, he told us, he goes, how could I do all of these things I've done in my career if I didn't study? I don't know how. I mean, how do you possibly? How could you possibly lose 5 of your last 7 games last year if you didn't study. Of course he's studying.
It's just it's such a crazy mess. And yeah, I mean, you nailed it right there.
Idiot. All right, let's get a break. I appreciate you as always. Great stuff, Alan Bell Jr. AB, good job, man.
Hey, big job. Appreciate it, buddy. Y'all have a good weekend. Take care.
Let's get a break. Come back, set you up for hour number 2 next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And now a small business setback, as assessed by a beloved family pediatrician.
Oh, hey, Tiger. Big scary tree branch give your work truck a boo-boo? Yeah. Wow. See this thing on my phone here? It's the Progressive mobile app. Just push that little button there and report your claim. Attaboy.
When owning a small business gets painful, Progressive Commercial is here to make it all better. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
What's this? Candy drawer? Who wants a lollipop?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions. Photo claims not available in all states or situations.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This time of year, it's hot. But with Brooks & Collier, you can be outside and comfortable. That's why Brooks & Collier has deep discounts on a large selection of patio umbrellas, furniture, and grills. With these patio umbrellas, you're sure to have a nice, shaded spot to relax. Lucy knows the best spot is a shaded spot. So if you're looking to spruce up your backyard and make it more comfortable, visit North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years. 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! No look pass inside, but he got to go to the floor.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Orthopedic Center. When my son had his knee issues and so on several years ago, where did we take him? We took him right to Dr. John Greco at TOC and had him look him over and take care of him. I trust these guys with my own children, and you need to trust them as well when you have any kind of an orthopedic need, whether it's a shoulder, neck, back, leg, ankle, foot. They got specialists for everything. And, now that, the high school football season is getting into full swing, your child gets an injury, you're going to want the docs at TOC to check them out. The therapists do a great job as well. Not everything is a surgical procedure. Most of the schools in the region use TOC. Alabama A&M, the Huntsville Havoc. I mean, there's a reason for all of this. TOC, they just do a tremendous job. And they have supported this radio show for, 17, 18 years, I guess, in the Valley. Just in the Valley of my 25 years on the air. Grizz, this fall, we hit 25, yeah. I think that's right. It was fall of 97. Woo! I started with the Saturday Slap Show in fall of 97. I was doing games. Yeah. I started doing games on TV and radio in fall of 97 when I retired from my last year coaching college football was 96. I was 35 years old. And I couldn't find a clear path for me to Division 1A. I had to go through 1AA, and I had a nice offer on the table from Western Kentucky. But I was 35 years old, and we had kids and everything else. And I had a business, the Coach's Corner. And I'm like, where am I going with this offer? $36,000 a year at a car. Where am I going? Special teams coordinator for Western Kentucky. They were 1AA at the time. It was the year after they won the national championship with Willie Taggart as their quarterback. And I'm like, I can't take that job. So I retired, so it would be 25 years. But it's been 19 years. This fall will be, or next spring will be 19 years since I got to the Valley. Most of those years, TOC Sports has been there supporting us. All right, coming up, Anthony Herron, speaking of a longtime Valley guy, Anthony Herron of the Big Ten Network will join us next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's been said that there are three things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a fourth certainty: the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the Summer Supercharged Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The Summer Supercharged Sales Event, Woody Anderson Ford.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. The New York Post reports Charles Barkley will stay with TNT. Barkley had not received a formal offer to join the Live Golf broadcast team, but says it's time for him to move on, and he plans to stay with Turner for the rest of his career. Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder testified for almost 11 hours Thursday for members of a congressional committee. Snyder appeared voluntarily but was under oath. The committee is investigating the Commanders' alleged workplace misconduct. The Mets get outfielder Tyler Naquin and left-hander Philip Deal in a trade with the Reds. Cincinnati gets 2 minor league players. Diana Taurasi becomes the first WNBA player to score 30 points in a game at age 40 as the Mercury beat the LA Sparks 90-80.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
UFC 277 in Dallas tomorrow. The main event, the women's bantamweight title. Amanda Nunes minus 275. Juliana Pena plus 225. Brandon Moreno at minus 220 against Kai Kara France at plus 175 for the interim flyweight belt. Inside of a week until the start of the preseason, Raiders and Jaguars in Canton this coming Thursday night. Vegas a 1.5-point favorite, 33 to total. Tonight, the Braves hosting the Diamondbacks this weekend. Atlanta minus 244 on the money line in Game 1 tonight. Arizona at plus 180. The over-under at 9. Atlanta taking 1 out of 3 in Philadelphia against the Phillies last time out. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially through the heart of the afternoon, and then that activity is going to continue as we head into the evening, the overnight, and then through the front half of the weekend. Because of that opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms, not going to be near as warm Friday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're going to maintain that cooler air as we head into the front half of your weekend with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
As the Atlanta Braves battle for another postseason run.
Throw comes in, and it got him! Oh, my goodness, what a throw!
It's also the start of football season. We've got you covered right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis's trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 to Thom Abraham Show on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. This segment of the show brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. Woody Anderson Ford, for all your service needs, there is none better than Woody Anderson Ford. Their service lanes down there are just amazing to see, to be honest with you. And the garage looks like a NASCAR shop. And when you look at that place and you say, look, these people take great pride in their workplace, you know that they're going to take great pride in getting your vehicle taken care of. Woody Anderson and Woody Anderson of Madison, there for you. Check those guys out. And when you're down there, check out all the F-150s, the Mustangs, the new electric vehicles that are coming in, the certified gold pre-owned vehicles as well. I mean, we got an F-150 and a ragtop Mustang sitting in the driveway as we speak. Actually, 3 ragtop Mustangs because 2 of my sons have one that lives near me, and then the other one that's still I can't get out of the house. I just can't get him. He graduated from college like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I can't get him out of the house. All right, joining us now, Anthony Herron. He does not have to worry about kids graduating from college yet because he's a young man, but he's part of the Big Ten Network and Big Ten Radio on Sirius XM, and he also handles some Chicago Bears duties as well, and he joins us from up there in Chicago. Big Ant, welcome to the show. How are you?
Big diggity. I'm doing extremely well. Just fresh off the road from Indianapolis Big Ten Media Days. Got to talk to Commissioner Kevin Warren with his chest puffed out a little bit. Talked to all the coaches, players that were in attendance. That was a good time. And so there's plenty of you and I don't, we usually just mainly talk football, pro and college and other leagues and whatnot. I'm curious your thoughts on this situation with the Live Tour, because I think you and I are kind of evenly yoked in the manner that we try not to be hypocrites about things. I know I certainly try not to, and I've known you long enough to know that you try to be consistent with your opinions on things. And this whole Live Golf Tour thing, to me, is I'm uncomfortable in concept, because you got the Saudi government coming in there, throwing all this money at something, and it's rivaling the highest level of golf competition here domestically. And so the notion of taking the top players and just throwing money at them and the biggest names and buying that up and competing directly with the PGA Tour, that makes me uneasy. While at the same time, I'm like, man, somebody said you want to come and work for the Saudi government, and we'll pay you $200 million to call some football games. I do see where that would be difficult to turn down. What's your take bit on that stuff?
My issue is the Saudi money. The period, and it's not about the a league wanting to try and change the the way golf is perceived and the style. I also don't think that 54 holes is a true test for the top players. I don't think not having a cut is a true test for top players, because I think that pressure is part of golf. That's why they're not going to get status with world golf ranking points, which means their players will not be allowed to get will work their way into the majors unless they already have exemptions, like some have certain level of exemptions and so on. So I don't think that you can allow a guy playing a 54-hole no-cut tournament to get points, and then the other guy's over there playing a 72-hole tournament where he could get cut after 2 rounds. So I think that there are some things about that are hokey. I have no problem with the fact that I think the PGA Tour was holding back on these guys, and I think they needed to have something like this and look at all of a sudden the PGA Tour has responded with all these new big money tournaments and everything else. But my singular problem is the blood money. I just can't. Those are bad people, and those are just bad people. They're evil people. They kill people for being gay, and regardless of how you feel about it personally. I mean, I know my personal feelings, but they don't kill somebody for it. They murder people for what they consider to be transgressions that are not to that level. They killed our American reporter over there. I just don't. And this is sports washing. This is absolutely sports. If they decided that they wanted to start a college football conference and they threw all this mad money at all of these people to join, they're only trying to cover up their transgressions. So I think that's my issue with it is these are really, really bad people. And I'm old enough to remember 9/11 still, and I know you are too. These people, I think, 8 out of the 11 main terrorists were, out of the Saudi government or out of that were Saudis. I just can't. Strange bedfellows, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. It really is. And then, go down the rabbit hole of, well, okay, how many other American companies are in bed with them and funding them and being funded by them in certain capacities? But the
China too. Same thing with China.
Exactly.
With all this stuff, the NBA with China and everything else, that bothers me. It's like, I don't know, but me, I'd like to build a wall around a country anyway. All the way around. I don't mean a physical one. I mean like to me, it's America first, second, and third. You know what I mean?
Right. And they're over here trying to compete against the highest level of competition here domestically. I mean, obviously PGA Tour is an international tour and everything, but it's the highest level of golf that any of us ever see in our lifetimes, and they're trying to kind of wipe them off the map. So yeah, it's a very uneasy thing. While at the same time, as I've talked about it on the air on a few different platforms.
Yeah.
I'd like to think in my heart of hearts that I would be able to turn it down, especially if I was already a multi-millionaire and had already had generational wealth. And I'd like to think I could turn that down and feel good about it. While at the same time, nobody's ever offered me, 9 figures to go do something I already love doing. So, the mental aspect of it, I'm like, you know what? I understand the difficulty of turning that kind of money down, even if you're already rich. Because what do rich people like? They like to get richer.
Yeah, that's the thing is that some of these guys, had huge money. I wonder about guys that are young guys that are, there are several guys that come right out of college that made this decision to go that route, and now several have been cut from that tour already, and now they've got to deal with, with that. They took the money early on, and now as they get more and more players because they want to keep the field limited, they're dropping guys off of the bottom of it. But, to me, I look at the young guy and I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, golf is about the Masters and the U.S. Open, and you're not qualified for anything. You're coming right out of the NCAA. And then I look at the other guys, and I look at the Phil Mickelsons. Look, a lot of these guys are guys that it's kind of like a tweener tour, isn't it? It's kind of like between the Champions Tour, the regular tour and the Champions Tour, guys that aren't making money anymore, that aren't competitive, that are in their late 40s that are going over there. But then when you see a Dustin Johnson, a Brooks Koepka, and a Bryson DeChambeau, those guys, they're loaded already. How much more do you need? You're loaded already. Doesn't legacy? But that's why I have so much respect for what Tiger Woods did. They threw money at Tiger Woods. It's different than all of these guys. Not 200, not 300. Like half. $500 million, like $500 million. And he turned it down because he understands legacy and he's loaded. So that's why I respect what he did.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I mean It's quite a decision to have to make, I guess. But wow.
Now, see, I wanted to get your take on something besides the Big Ten before we got started on the Big Ten, and that was, how is the market reacting to the orange? The orange helmet is just, I'm trying to figure out, like, if they weren't the Chicago Bears, I think it's a good looking helmet. I'm not sure how I feel about orange on orange for the Bears. I don't hate the helmet. I always hated when they wore the orange jersey. I love when they wear the dark navy jersey with the orange numbers, with the actual, football block numbers. But how are your listeners and how are the folks in Big Ten and Bears country reacting to the orange helmet?
Bears fans are in an interesting position right now dealing with that because the helmet itself, like you said, it's not like the helmet is ugly. The orange on orange is certainly a topic of discussion here in Chicago. And I think the Bears are trying to progress in this matter because there's so much talk about the potential move to Arlington Heights. They're really, the city of Chicago is trying to do everything they can to make it look like they're making it enticing for the Bears to stay here. There's all these stadium designs that they're throwing out there for what Soldier Field could look like after another revamp. And, just had a revamp, a facelift, 20 years ago. That one really wasn't done so well. So now you got this potential facelift here. Some of the designs look cool and all, but the financial end of it isn't going to be enough to keep the Bears in the city. They're very likely to move to Arlington Heights. So in the midst of all that,
and how far is that for our listeners? Give them an idea. What are we talking about? Are we talking about Athens to Huntsville? Where is Arlington Heights? Is this Foxborough to Boston? How far outside of the city is Arlington Heights?
We're basically talking about 40 minutes outside of Chicago. Because Chicago is, but you kind of think about Arlington, Texas. I mean, Jerry World is in Arlington, Texas. That's not that close to Dallas, but they're still the Dallas Cowboys. So we are starting to see this. The Arizona Cardinals, they're in a similar scenario. It's becoming more prominent. San Francisco 49ers, kind of naming them off as they're popped into my head here, where the NFL has gone to really suburban locations for their stadiums while still maintaining that same city urban label to the team that everyone's become accustomed to having historically. And I think if the Bears move to Arlington Heights, trek, but frankly, most of the people that drive into Soldier Field have a big trek that they're making from the suburbs anyway. And the issue is, because of Soldier Field's location, I mean, it's a marvelous looking location right on the lakefront, but it's really congested, it's bottlenecked, and, Chicago just hasn't been able to effectively find a way to manage traffic in and out. So it's a tough trip to get to and from Soldier Field for a Bears game already. So going up to Arlington Heights, the Bears, the same thing the Chicago Cubs did here, where they bought up pretty much all of Wrigleyville surrounding Wrigley Field. The Bears can do something similar in Arlington Heights that they can't do keeping the team playing in the city of Chicago at Soldier Field. The city owns Soldier Field. The city manages the playing surface that's been – the grass at Soldier Field is terrible. It has been for a long time. So the Bears can really, for lack of a better term, improve their quality of life and really deepen their pockets going up to Arlington Heights. They can build hotels. They can make a full fan experience outside the stadium and keep the majority of that money for themselves. They can build a big sports book like the Cubs are doing next to Wrigley Field. There's just a lot more financial ramifications to the Bears moving to Arlington Heights that the city of Chicago, as much as they can try, they're just not really in a position to provide all this additional accoutrement, that the Bears can try to capitalize on to make their finances and to make the fan experience a lot more favorable than it is right now.
Yeah, and the other part of it would be, since I don't live in Chicago, but I love watching the Bears play, is I know you got 2 dome stadiums with turf in the division right now, and then you got the Green Bay Packers playing outside on the blended grass, and the Bears play on the grass. Years ago, they played at Soldier Field on synthetic turf. I know they're going to end up building a dome. I know it's going to be a dome, and I hate it. You know what I mean? It's the monsters of the Midway. You know what I mean? I want to see the Bears playing outside in the weather. I want to see playoff games with some snow flurries flying off the lake or wherever. Even at Arlington Heights, I'm sure they still get plenty of snow and so on. I just hate these homogenized dome stadiums, and they're talking about building a dome in Cleveland. That new stadium in Cleveland, I say new stadium, that stadium in Cleveland's only 24 years old. They're talking about building a new stadium there, and it's got to be a dome. And I'm like, come on, man. These Midwest stadiums need to be outside.
Yeah, the only one that stands out, where I spent the first couple of years of my NFL career with the Lions, and my rookie year was in 2001. It was the last year of the Pontiac Silverdome, which obviously was a dome, hence the name. And they moved downtown Detroit to Ford Field, still a domed environment there. But the Minnesota Vikings, the Vikings fans were accustomed to being in the Metrodome for so many years. And the Gophers, when I was playing Big Ten football in the late 90s, the Minnesota Gophers shared the Metrodome with the Vikings. The Gophers made a decision to move their football stadium to an outdoor venue. And it's turned into quite a home field advantage for them, for a mediocre football team that tends to compete really well at home when you get into late October and November. Now, I do think these teams, in the Midwest, that they're accustomed to practicing in these tough weather environments and can be accustomed to playing with Lambeau Field, Soldier Field. You get a decent team and make the weather an advantage for you. It does seem like NFL ownership should factor that in from a competitive perspective. But in the end, their hope is to be able to host a variety of other events at the venue there. And that was also one of the difficult things with Soldier Field here, that there are certain portions of the year where you can do other things there. But then there's a number of months out of the year, what the weather's like in Chicago. It's just hard to say, hey, rock concert, let's come here to Soldier Field in November. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, it's a great point. Anthony Herron with us here. Those of you that are watching the show on WZZN TV, you see the handsome picture of Anthony Herron there. You could make a case that you could be Kevin Warren's younger brother. You could. Right? You both got that bald look going, and you he's kind of a bulky guy as well. Apparently, he's a big workout guy, right? He goes in some kind of special chamber or something, and he's into he's into his all of his physicals and all of that kind of stuff. You're right. You said his chest puffed out a little bit. His chest is puffed out a little bit after he was able to bring in USC and UCLA, and he looks. There's a different narrative. It seems like this year, as opposed to a couple of years ago, where he kind of looked like he was totally botching the whole pandemic season.
And I think, I asked Commissioner Warren about this a couple of days ago when I was there in Indy. I got a chance to interview him for SiriusXM Big Ten Radio, and Big Dog, I draw a parallel between that time period in 2020 when he had only been on the job a few months. And even if we just kind of remove the biggest decisions he's made, there's just understandably a couple of years into this thing, it's just obvious. Kevin Warren has a much better command of the job he has, the task at hand, command of the environment, of the information. He hadn't worked as an administrator in intercollegiate athletics before that. They took him from the NFL, made him Big Ten commissioner. But just in talking the nuts and bolts of the job, he's just got a much better handle on all of that now than he did a couple of years ago. But, of course, like you referenced, he takes the gig and then just gets thrust into the most bizarre, most unpredictable, most chaotic, and in some ways catastrophic period that any of us had ever seen, in life in general to some extent, but certainly the way it affected the sports world, just for the purposes of our discussion here, as the pandemic began a few months into him taking that gig. The parallel I draw is that when he and Big Ten presidents and chancellors, they made the decision to postpone the season, that was a really tough call because he knew it was going to get all types of backlash, all types of negative reaction, all kinds of Twitter and, blowback from every angle. And they ended up doing, and he led the way in doing what he felt like was best at the time for health and safety. He had a Big Ten athlete who was gone to the ER, and his mother's posting on social media, and people are dying all over the place. They said, you know what, let's put a hold on this thing. And he knew folks are going to have a big issue with it. It was this unprecedented move. And a few months later, they reversed course and about, getting the season going there. The parallel I draw is that even though, he knew going in, this was going to have a largely positive reaction from Big Ten fans, but it still could have a negative tinge to the future of college football, the future of intercollegiate athletics, the consolidation of power and asset. And, as much as, Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, he seems, I think, perhaps more comfortable to some extent just kind of talking about being a guy who's kind of controlling the future of collegiate sports. I don't think Kevin Warren is necessarily wired as much along those lines. He really likes to feel like there's a consensus that's built there, like everyone has a stake in what's going on, that sort of thing. And that being said, though, he was still willing to make this call. He was still willing to bring in USC, UCLA, who knows, certainly damage, maybe even just kill off the Pac-12 when it comes down to it. We'll see how it plays out in the years to come here. It was a very difficult call that was going to have big ramifications, but we saw him willing to make a big call that had understandable, disagreement with it on each side of things. But we saw him, as soon as he took the gig, willing to make a difficult call already.
Yeah. Well, but there has also been criticism about hypocrisy because, last year it was all about when the SEC expanded with Texas and Oklahoma. It was all about the alliance and let's, band arms together and sing Kumbaya. And by the way, I'm going to take your 2 top teams. And I might not be done. You know what I mean? So I think there is that deal. And let's talk about that because it feels like now, of course they're talking to Cal, Stanford, Washington, and Oregon. They would fit perfectly now that you got USC and UCLA. I don't know that there was ever a thought process that just USC and UCLA were going to be outliers and they would have to travel for half of their schedule 3 time zones away and all of that other kind of stuff. Of course they're going to talk about Stanford, Cal, who would fit the Big Ten model, the Big Ten, the new Big Ten West, if you will, the Big Ten at night, call it whatever you want, and Oregon and Washington. And now we're to the point, maybe we're cynical, but, can you believe that there's a possibility we are going to get an announcement sometime before even the start of the season that also, these other 4 teams will be coming to the 10, and it'll be the 20. It'll be the 10, but it'll be the 20.
Right, exactly. Right, and who's going to be able to keep up with all that? I don't believe
the SEC when they go after the ACC, because that's going to be the next step will happen. When the SEC said, "Okay, we'll do the same thing and go after the ACC." I think the Pac-12 and the ACC,
Southeastern Atlantic Conference, something like that.
Well, yeah. Look, because you could even see, you say 20, but you know what? You got Rutgers, you got Penn State, you got Maryland over there. What about Boston College and Syracuse? What about Boston College and Syracuse and Notre Dame? You know what I mean? What about getting to, if you're going to do it, you end up just super consolidation. You go to 24. The SEC goes to 24. There's no more ACC. There's no more Pac-12. You just have divisions of these 2 super conferences, and you got 48 of the teams all in that one place. Let's be crazy.
Yeah, one of the things that Kevin Warren's talked about a decent bit is the necessity to sort of see around corners, if you will. And Gene Smith, Ohio State's athletic director, has used that term as well, just to try and be ahead of the curve, try to, in a way kind of predict, make a guess on what the future will hold, and then make your decisions based off of that. So all the numbers that are being run right now, I believe, are centered around figuring out who adds value to the conference, because as much as in the future, we can kind of predict that at least the Big Ten and the ACC will continue to get bigger. Who knows? If not another conference or 2, people combine forces or something like that. But there's a time when that will happen. I don't think it'll be before we get to this regular season. The Big Ten already has a lot on their plate in finalizing their media rights deals. Folks I've been talking to at a variety of networks, it really did, because no one knew the USC-UCLA news was coming. There was such a small group of people, and especially after last year with the Longhorns and the Sooners as they joined the SEC, right as conference media days were kind of getting rolling and just ending in the SEC.
Right.
Then you get that Texas-Oklahoma news, and no one knew about that. They were able to keep that under wraps. It's shocking the way that the Big Ten and the Trojans and the Bruins kept this under wraps so well. So it surprised everyone. So even just with the media rights that the Big Ten's negotiating right now, there were already going to be historic deals in place. Just be whatever the next term is beyond a windfall, that's what's on the way to the Big Ten. And that was before they added the Trojans and the Bruins. So now folks have to re-engage in those conversations to get people even back to the table. Apple said they were out, and then the Trojans and the Bruins pulled them back in. So there's going to be new money involved in what was already a historic there. So I do think because you're so far down the road with that, it seems like the Big Ten is maybe pushing a brief pause on adding anyone else because it does take months. You know what it's like. You coach, you've been in intercollegiate athletics, been an administrator in a variety of ways. There are a lot of details that go into kind of confirming who actually fits. So, I think conceptually it makes a lot of sense. Stanford and Cal, the academic end of things, it seems like that fits. But at the same time, you got kind of opposing forces there because from what I'm hearing, USC and UCLA, part of their desire, and it surprises me a little bit when I was told this by a couple of folks, but they're not as worried about having to travel to the Midwest or even the East Coast for competition. They see some benefit in maybe being the only Pacific time zone team benefiting from playing in the Big Ten and having the Big Ten network and all that additional financial revenue and maybe even recruiting the line of scrimmage from the Midwest and those things that some of their Pac-12 brethren right now haven't been able to do. So they're not necessarily so eager to be joined by other Pac-12 teams into the Big Ten immediately. In a similar fashion to what Texas A&M wasn't really too stoked about the idea of Texas joining the SEC. You do want to have that advantage on your regional rival, on your in-state counterpart to make sure that recruiting, resources, all those things that you continue to compete for, even when you're in different conferences, that's where right now I think there's multiple forces at play in how quickly the future of the Big Ten will expand beyond the 16.
I think you become like the most valuable guy on a Big Ten network because these Pac-12 teams.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, well, let's talk the Big Ant. By the way, why when I saw Fox had the USFL, I just assumed I'm like, this is perfect for Big Ant. I mean, you need to be doing some USFL games. I thought for sure I was going to see you on a USFL coverage.
I need to hire a new agent. You in the business?
I'm just saying.
Points out here, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, it doesn't make sense for the X because you're in that Fox Big Ten kind of world over there, and the X will be an ESPN product. That's where Tommy Luganville will end up probably over there. But I just assumed that you would be because you're great on these games. I mean, you do a tremendous job on the games, and we'll make that happen. Not that the guys they had were, Joel Klatt did a nice job.
Yeah, Joel Klatt's great.
They're good.
He was a good friend. Yeah, love those guys. But,
yeah, we need a little Anthony Herron in there, man. We got a little Big Ant in there. All right, Ant, I appreciate you so much. Great stuff. Keep up the great work. Big Ten Network, Big Ten Radio as well, XM, Sirius. Am I missing anything? Chicago Bears pre and post and all that stuff. Am I missing anything else you're doing?
That's the main stuff. That's aside from outstanding husband and father. But yeah, you know how that goes.
Live golf analyst. By the way, too, the Live Golf thing that drives me nuts that people call it Live Golf. Why is it not LIV? They're 3 letters. They are 3 capital letters, right? And they are Roman numerals for 54. You know that, right? I mean, that's what Live came for. It's the Roman numeral 54 because they're 54-hole golf tournaments. Now, when they become 72, because they have to do that to get world points or whatever, then maybe they'll change it to some other whatever the Roman numeral is for 72. But I always call it the LIV Tour, because it's I don't know. It wasn't like Super Bowl Live. When we had Super Bowl 54, we didn't call it Super Bowl Live. It was, So anyway, that's my rant.
Your promise. Whenever they come over here and try to start some competitive football domestically, is going to take on the NFL, and they offer Tom Abraham $100 million as a play-by-play. When you turn them down, let me break the news.
Yeah, I will. I will let you know. Okay, you know why? Because I'm playing for that. I'm playing for. Look, I got 10 years left in my career. I'm playing for the long game, and I need to make sure I'm right in the long game. You know what I mean? So when I get to that pearly – the eternal game. So when I get to that pearly gate, I need to be able to say, you know what, I held my head up high, and I tried to do the right thing. So maybe
Amen
not.
to that, Big Dog.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, brother. I appreciate it. We'll talk again.
Big diggity. My pleasure.
All right. Thank you. Love Anthony Herron. Big diggity dog. He's been calling me Big Diggity Dog for 15 or 20. He's the only one that says it. It's fantastic. All right, let's get a break in. We're going to open the phone lines. We will reset for you our future fecta. We have a future fecta rolling here. We will reset it for you so that you can get in and get your picks in, because the only way you can get in is either by texting us your picks or by calling in your picks. So this would be a great time to do it at 256-576-4977. I have 4 AFC teams that we're featuring today in our future fecta win totals, over or under win totals. We'll do the NFC next week. We'll do the SEC, and then we'll do 4 random college football teams at the end. And then they'll be playing games, and it's going to be glorious. Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
UFC 277 in Dallas tomorrow. The main event, the women's bantamweight title. Amanda Nunes minus 275. Juliana Pena plus 225. Brandon Moreno at minus 220 against Kai Kara France at plus 175 for the interim flyweight belt. Inside of a week until the start of the preseason, Raiders and Jaguars in Canton this coming Thursday night. Vegas a 1.5-point favorite, 33 to total. Tonight, the Braves hosting the Diamondbacks this weekend. Atlanta minus 244 on the money line in Game 1 tonight. Arizona at plus 180. The over-under at 9. Atlanta taking 1 out of 3 in Philadelphia against the Phillies last time out. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at baddaddysburgerbar.com.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially through the heart of the afternoon, and then that activity is going to continue as we head into the evening, the overnight, and then through the front half of the weekend. Because of that opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms, not going to be near as warm Friday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're going to maintain that cooler air as we head into the front half of your weekend with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hammaker and his crew standing by to make sure that you get the right deal for the property that you are looking at. And look, you need to be pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage and have that in your hand when you're making an offer on a house right now. Things are very competitive out there. I'll be honest with you. I know my wife and I are constantly kind of looking around if there's the right ranch or the right farm that we could snag, somewhere in the North Alabama area or whatnot. I've looked at a few recently, and you got to be ready to pounce on these things. If you don't, you snooze, you lose. Bad enough people are already saying that offers are coming in $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 over the asking prices on these houses. But if you're ready to go, you need to be pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage. Now, the other idea is that you get a home improvement loan so you can work on your property, your existing property, and get things right. And certainly you can do that as well with North Alabama Mortgage. They do a tremendous job. They treat you like family. They walk you through the whole process. They just do an outstanding job with it. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. That will get you in. It's 256-576-4977. We have for you the first of 4 weeks' worth of future Fectas. And if you want to get in, you can get in right now. What we're looking at in this future Fecta today, and you can do it via the text window, you can do it via the phone lines. We've got the Buffalo Bills.
Anyone who wants a piece of OJ has to get by me.
At 11.5 wins. Over or under 11.5 wins. This is easy. We've got the Tennessee Titans.
Touchdown, Derrick Henry, 72-yard gallop.
Over or under 9.5 wins. Remember, 17-game season. We have got the New England Patriots.
I just can't take it anymore.
With Mac Jones. Over or under 8.5 wins. And the Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
Over or under 8.5. And if you're under 8.5, that's a losing season. Well, keep that in mind. If you're under 8.5, that plays out as a losing season. All right, let me go to the lines. Grumpy is up. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, I wanted to say, on the commercial it said get pre-approved for a house. Man, you got to be pre-approved these days.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be, man. I go to these auctions up here in Tennessee where they're auctioning off land and stuff. Dude, there'd be a dozen people. Man, you can't even find a place to park your truck now. There's so many people trying to buy it and stuff.
And it used to be when a property went on auction, didn't it, stop me if I'm lying, it used to be because they were having a hard time selling it. Now they're putting them up on auction right off the bat because the auction fever, and people end up paying $100,000 more than what they would have paid if they would have asked, asking price.
Yeah, plus 10% buyer's premium, and every auctioneer. It's gotten down to a few auctioneers in the area now, only a few, and but they put them all online now, so you're getting bids from all over the country, because every auction you go to is online. But yeah, if you're not pre-approved, you're trying to buy property or a house, then you're just setting yourself up for frustration because you're not going to get it.
Yeah, well, that's what's great about North Alabama Mortgage. And what's also cool about them is they're good in Alabama, they're good in Tennessee, and they're good in Florida as well. So, people that are working within those areas, can use one place, whether they're buying in Tennessee or Alabama.
Hey, I want to tell you just a real quick story, and then I want to ask you a question about the name of Live Golf.
Yeah.
A&W Root Beer ran into a lot of financial problems because they set all of their marketing and advertising money towards a campaign that sold a third of a pound burger at the same price as a quarter pounder back in the early 90s.
Right.
And the average, or the great majority of Americans were refusing to pay the same price for a smaller burger because they didn't know that a third is bigger than a quarter. And it sunk A&W. That was one of the main reasons that that's one of the reasons A&W just went off the map. They spent millions on that campaign.
How could you not know that a third
because
size?
The numbers are smaller. The denominator is smaller. 3 is smaller than a 4.
Well, we don't use the metric system.
We had half pounders the other day, and they're actually too big. We went up to half pounders, and I put them on the grill, and they were just a little bit too big. But I never. You think somebody would think that a half pound is more than a quarter pounder?
I don't know.
Weird.
I'm just saying that's what sunk A&W, or a lot of it. But yeah, that's a Fred Flintstone burger. So my question is this: is the average a large percentage of Americans not know that that's a Roman numeral 54 and they play 3 rounds instead of 4, or are we supposed to call it Live?
I don't. It's interesting because some call it the Saudi Tour. They want it because they want to make sure that people realize that it's dirty money. So they'll call it the Saudi Arabian Tour. It has actually 2 or 3 different names. I was confused at the beginning as to exactly which, because there were a couple of secondary tours that were getting ready to start up at the same time. And I'm like, is this they called it the Super Tour for a long time. It was going to be the Saudi Super Tour, and then it came out with this Live Tour, and everybody just started saying Live, and they're just letting it go because that's what people are calling it. But the letters are all capitalized. So, and it's 54. And I didn't know why it was called the Live Tour when it first came out. This is just 2 months ago. I looked it up, and I'm like, why is it the Live Tour? And then I think it was Grizz that figured it out or found out that it was LIV is 54 Roman numerals. Yeah. And that's why it's a 54-hole tournament, which is kind of stupid.
It'd be interesting to see in non-English-speaking countries if they're calling it 54.
Yeah, or if they're calling it LIV. Just say LIV or something. I don't know what the hell you would call it. Yeah.
Yeah, and how often does Auburn or any SEC team have 8 home games? Does that happen every other year and I just didn't notice it, or did Auburn just...
Usually 7 has been the norm. It's kind of just happened this year. It has. Teams are certainly fighting for that 8th home game and trying to get it. But because you're in a league where you got 4 road games in your league. Obviously, you play 4 at home and 4 on the road. And if you can get all of your non-conference games at home, you get lucky that way. But yeah, Auburn has Georgia State, Charlotte, South Carolina State, and
Mercer.
Is it Mercer? Yeah, I think it's Mercer. No, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong team. They got Mercer, San Jose State, Penn State at home, and then late in the season, Western Kentucky at home. So they got their 4 league games, and then they've got their 4 non-conference games. It's unusual. 8 is unusual. 7 now, 7 and 5 is pretty much very standard. But like Alabama's at Texas this year, so they'll have 7 at home.
And I got a single future fecta for you, and I'll do the trifecta I'll text it to you and give you your airtime back. How many games will Auburn's coach have to win to keep his job? Thanks.
I appreciate you. I have it at 8. I don't think he survives 7 and 5. I have them at 7 and 5 this year. I have them beating Mercer, San Jose State. I think they lose the Penn State game. That's the 8th win, by the way, the Penn State game. I think they beat Missouri. I think they beat LSU. I think they lose to Penn State. I think they lose to Georgia. I think they lose to Ole Miss. I give them a win over Arkansas. That's an upset. I give them a win at home over Arkansas. It's a little bit of an upset right now because I think Arkansas is maybe the second-best team in the SEC West. I have them going to Mississippi State and winning. That's not going to be easy. I have them losing at home to A&M. I am beating Western Kentucky and losing at Alabama. So I have them at 7-5. I don't think 7-5 is enough. I don't think 7-5 is enough. You lose to Alabama and Georgia, I guess be all right with that. If they're 7-5 with wins over LSU and Arkansas, now what if they beat Penn State but lose to LSU or Arkansas or Mississippi State? I think they're in a very similar position to Mississippi State is where they're at. I do not think Brian Harsin survives 7-5. By the way, the over/under for Auburn, I believe I'd have to go double check. We'll have it in 3 weeks on the thing, but I think Grizz it's 6.5. Am I lying? It's not 7.5. I don't think. I think the over/under for Auburn is 6.5.
Let me see. 6 wins.
And that doesn't get it done.
6 wins.
Yeah, 6 wins. That's their back number. 6 wins. That's what Vegas has them at 6. That's not enough. No, he don't survive 6 wins. Yeah, he a lot of bluster and everything. Now, go 7-5 and have a big recruiting class on the horizon. Give me that. 7-5, and you've got a big recruiting class on the horizon. Okay, then maybe I'm thinking a little differently. Right now, their recruiting class is 66th. 66th is where they are right now. Within their own conference, just in the SEC, they're, let's see here. In the SEC, they're 13th out of 14 teams. Now, Ole Miss is 14th. That's Lane Kiffin. He's 14th. They both have 5 commits for 2023 right now. And Auburn's commits are all 3 stars. Or check that. Auburn's commits are all 4 stars. And Ole Miss has 3 4-stars and 2 3-stars. And that's why Auburn is ahead of Ole Miss. Ole Miss has got a problem because I think they got a money issue there. NIL issue there. You can say come to the SIP all you want. And you could be Lane Kiffin and you could be dynamic and so on. That's why he's been out of shape more than anybody, calling it legalized cheating. That's why he's the most bent out of shape about NIL. Or should we call it nil? Should we call it nil like we call it the Live Tour? Should we call it nil? It's NIL, just like it's LIV.
Well, that's an NIL is an abbreviation of something, of three
so
words.
LIV?
LIV
is Roman numerals. That's an abbreviation. I mean, basically,
for numbers. Yeah, one's for numbers,
yeah,
one's
but I
for
mean,
letters.
that's a number. LIV is a number. That's the LIV tour.
I call it the 54 tour.
Yeah.
I know my Roman numerals.
So, and the bad thing about that is they've married themselves then to that 54 hole thing. Because I think, they're going to 14 tournaments next year on the Live Tour. And I think they need to go to 72-hole tournaments. So what happens when they go to 72-hole tournaments? And then they're going to say, well...
LXX.
Yeah.
Right.
II. Figure out, what is 72?
LXXII. It's L.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's LXX and then II.
So it'll be like the tour.
The LXXII.
Just call it what it is. It's a Saudi blood money tour. So Auburn would be at 7-5. He better be sitting on a great class. He better have the number 1 defensive back, the number 1 running back, and the number 3 quarterback coming in. Then maybe he could survive 7-5. But I think the number's 8-4. I think it's got to be 8-4. I think he can stand losing to Alabama and Georgia. Maybe Ole Miss. And Texas A&M. He's got to win the best. They got to beat Arkansas at home. They got to beat Mississippi State on the road, and they got to beat Penn State at home to get to 8-4. To get to 8-4, I think that's what has to happen.
They could definitely, I could say, have a chance against Texas A&M at home, depending on what Texas A&M team is going into that weekend.
I mean, Texas A&M
and that recruiting class,
I mean, they have an unbelievable.
A&M bought every player.
They got a great class. So I don't know how many of those guys, are they buying wins?
A&M bought every player.
I don't know. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. Final segment is next. You want to jump in? We might can slip you in on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. This Friday, you can get $50 worth of Bad Daddy goodness for just $25 with our Zone deals. Log on 977ESPN.com to get your Zone deal before they're gone.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Dan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, We're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
How much of it do you have? Do you have like 45 seconds worth or the whole thing?
This is the whole thing.
How much trouble will we get in? Someday we're just going to sit here and just play it, nod our heads.
Oh, we would definitely get in trouble, especially on YouTube.
Yeah. I thought we were good up to 45 seconds.
I don't know if that's really a thing, to be honest with you, anymore. I know that...
Crank that sucker right in.
Now we're allowed to.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Oh, you mean on the air we can do it, but maybe not on the YouTube? What if I got Ricky Medlock to play it live for us?
I don't know. He'd probably have to consent to it. He'd probably have to be like, yeah, you can do that. Actually, just ask him. Just say, hey, can we play? Yeah. See, that's like consent. That's consent right there. I mean, that's their song. Well, I mean, he didn't write the song though, did he?
No, yeah. Well,
he
just
sings it.
Those guys are.
Yeah. Well, it's like, isn't it like after certain so many years or something like that? I think you can play it, or I don't know. I always thought it was that 45 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever.
On the air, it is. It's you got 45 seconds. Well, we pay for that. We pay ASCAP for that, but we're allowed to play up to 45 seconds. As long as we pay our ASCAP bill, which we do.
So, but like Twitch, though, Twitch is perfectly okay. They're actually you can play music in the background now. They've actually handled a deal out, where people can actually do that. You don't have to be partnered or anything. And then YouTube, it's like they'll say that there's a copyright claim, but mostly it's just because if you're trying to make money off of your YouTube, and if they catch any kind of music that's not yours, if you're not using royalty free, then you can't make money off of that video.
There's an interesting story. Speaking of Auburn sports, I suggest everybody go to SaturdayDownSouth.com and look at Connor O'Gara's story, friend of the show. It's titled, I have doubts that Zach Calzetta is up for the task at hand for Auburn, but I'm intrigued as ever. And he says in the story, paying $15 million to fire a coach after year two doesn't feel like it's beyond the realm of possibility for a program that forked over $20 million to boot Gus Malzahn.
Sheesh.
But he is not feeling it for Zach Calzetta. You know what? He beat Alabama. All right, that's going to do it for us. Coming up next, the Chuck Oliver Show, Paul Feinbaum, The Drive. All right here on your home for pretty much everything in the Valley. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football